The Perfect Matrimony, The Doorway to Initiation, Samuel Aun Wewer. Get the PDF version of this book from gnosistr.com. Copyright. Today and forever, my dear brethren, I have renounced and I will continue to renounce the copyright. The only thing that I want is that these books can be sold inexpensively, accessible to the poor, accessible to all those who suffer and cry. May the happiest citizen manage to get this book with the few cents that he has in his pocket. That is all. Samuel Aun Wewer. Pronouncement in the Congress of Guadalajara, Mexico, October 29, 1976. Introduction. I have written this book for the few. I say for the few because many people do not accept it, comprehend it, or want it. When the first edition of The Perfect Matrimony came out, it produced great enthusiasm among students of all schools, lodges, religions, orders, sects, and esoteric societies. The outcome of that enthusiasm was the formation of the Gnostic movement. This movement began with a few comprehensive people and became completely international. Many students of occultism studied this book, few comprehended it. Many of them, enthusiastic with the enchanting theme of the perfect matrimony, joined the ranks of the Gnostic movement. Those who did not leave the Gnostic movement can be counted on the fingers of one hand. Many swore loyalty before the altar of Gnosis. However, in reality, almost all violated their sworn oaths. Some seemed to be true apostles, which even made it seem a sacrilege to doubt them. Nevertheless, in the long run we had to realize with infinite pain that they were also traitors. Often, reading a book or listening to a new lecturer who had just arrived in the city was enough for these false brethren to withdraw from the Gnostic movement. Therefore, in this battle for the new age of Aquarius, which began on February 4, 1962, between 2 and 3 o'clock in the afternoon, we had to learn that the abyss is filled with sincerely mistaken people who have very good intentions. Perfect matrimony and the cosmic Christ constitute the synthesis of all religions, schools, orders, sects, lodges, yogas, etc. Indeed, it is unfortunate that so many who discovered the practical synthesis have left it to fall into the intricate labyrinth of theories. Tradition has it that in the center of the labyrinth there was a synthesis, that is to say, the labyrinths of the temple. Etymologically, the word labyrinth originates from the word labyrinthus. The latter is a double-edged axe, a symbol of the masculine and feminine sexual forces. Indeed, whoever finds the synthesis commits the greatest foolishness when he leaves the center and returns to the complicated corridors of all the theories that form the labyrinth of the mind. Christ and sexual magic represent religious synthesis. If we make a comparative study of religions, we will discover phallicism at the essence of all schools, religions, and esoteric sects. Let's remember Peristera, the nymph of Venus' court, who was transformed into a dove by love. Let's remember the virtuous Venus. Let's remember the processions of the god Priapus from the august ancient Rome of the Caesars when the priestesses of the temple, filled with ecstasy, majestically carried an enormous phallus made out of sacred wood. With just reason, Freud, founder of psychoanalysis, said that religions have a sexual origin. The mysteries of fire are contained within the perfect matrimony. All fire cults are absolutely sexual. The Vestals were true priestesses of love. With them, chaste priests reached adepthood. It is unfortunate that modern Vestals, nuns, do not know the key of sexual magic. It is unfortunate that the priests of this day and age have forgotten the secret key of sex. We feel profound pain when we see so many yogis ignoring the supreme key of yoga, sexual magic, the supreme synthesis of all yoga systems. People are filled with horror when they hear about sexual magic. However, they are not filled with horror when they give in to all kinds of sexual cruelty and carnal passion. In this book, dear reader, you have the synthesis of all religions, schools, and sects. Our doctrine is the doctrine of the synthesis. Powerful civilizations and grandiose mysteries existed within the profound night of the centuries. Then, the priestesses of love were never absent from the temples. Those who became masters of the White Lodge practiced sexual magic with them. The master must be born within us by means of sexual magic. In the sunny land of Chem, there in the ancient Egypt of the pharaohs, whoever made the great arcanum, sexual magic, public was condemned to death. His head was cut off, his heart was torn out, and his ashes were tossed to the four winds. In the land of the Aztecs, men and women who aspired to become adepts caressed each other, loved each other, and practiced sexual magic for long periods of time within the courtyards of the temples. Whoever spilled the cup of Hermes during these temple practices was beheaded for having profaned the temple. All systems of intimate self-education have sexual magic as their ultimate practical synthesis. Every religion, every esoteric cult, has as its synthesis sexual magic, the arcanum A Zeta F. Naked dancing and ineffable things existed within the Eleusinian mysteries. Sexual magic was the fundamental basis of those mysteries. At that time, no one thought of perversities because sex was profoundly venerated. Initiates know the third logos works within sex. We have written this book with complete clarity. We have unveiled what was veiled. Now, whoever wants to self-realize in depth can rightly do so. Behold, here is the guide, here is the complete teaching. I have already been harassed, humiliated, slandered, persecuted, etc., for teaching the path of the perfect matrimony. This does not matter to me. At first, treason and slander hurt me a great deal. However, I have now become like steel. Hence, treason and slander no longer hurt me. I know all too well that humanity hates the truth and mortally hates the prophets. Therefore, it is normal that they hate me for having written this book. We aspire towards only one thing, only one goal, only one objective: Christification. It is necessary for each human being to Christify himself. It is necessary to incarnate the Christ. In this book we have lifted the veil of the Christic mysteries. We have explained what the Christic principle is. We have invited all human beings to follow the path of the perfect matrimony in order to attain Christification. We have explained that Christ is not an individual but rather a universal, cosmic, and impersonal principle, which must be assimilated by each human being through sexual magic. Naturally, fanatics are scandalized by all of this. Yet, the truth is the truth, and we have to say it even if it may cost us our lives. The teachings of the Zend-Avesta contain the Christ principle, and are in accordance with the doctrinal principles contained in the Egyptian Book of the Dead, the Iliad of Homer, the Hebrew Bible, the Germanic Edda, and the Sibylline books of the Romans contain the same Christ principle. All these are sufficient in order to demonstrate that Christ precedes Jesus of Nazareth. Christ is not one single individual. Christ is a cosmic principle that we must assimilate within our own physical, psychic, somatic, and spiritual nature through sexual magic. Among the Persians, Christ is Ormuzd, Ahura Mazda, the terrible enemy of Ahriman, Satan, which we carry within. Among the Hindus, Krishna is Christ, and the Gospel of Krishna is very similar to that of Jesus of Nazareth. Among the Egyptians, Christ is Osiris, and whoever incarnated him was in fact an Osirified one. Among the Chinese, the cosmic Christ is Fu Xi, who composed the I Ching, the Book of Laws, and appointed dragon ministers. Among the Greeks, Christ is called Zeus, Jupiter, father of the gods. Among the Aztecs, Christ is Quetzalcoatl, the Mexican Christ. In the Germanic Edda, Baldur is the Christ who was assassinated by Hoda, god of war, with an arrow made from a twig of mistletoe, etc. We can cite the cosmic Christ within thousands of ancient texts and old traditions which hail millions of years before Jesus. This invites us to accept that Christ is a cosmic principle contained within the essential principles of all religions. Truly, only one unique and cosmic religion exists. This religion assumes different forms according to the times and needs of humanity. Therefore, religious conflicts are an absurdity because in essence all religions are only modifications of the universal cosmic religion. From this point of view, we affirm that this book is not against any religion, school, or system of thought. The only objective of this book is to give humanity a key, a sexual secret, a key with which every living being may assimilate the Christ principle contained within the essence of all the great religions of the world. We recognize Jesus, Zeus, Jupiter, as the new Superman who totally assimilated the Christ principle and in fact became a God-man. We believe we should imitate him. He was a complete man, a true man in the fullest sense of the word, yet through sexual magic he managed to completely assimilate the universal cosmic Christ principle. Those few who are very comprehensive must study the Gospel of John, chapter 3, verses 1 through 21. There the devotee of the perfect matrimony will find pure and legitimate sexual magic as taught by Jesus. Obviously, the teaching is in code, but the person who is knowledgeable will understand it intuitively. Modern humanity has committed the mistake of separating the great Master Jesus from all his predecessors who, like him, also Christified themselves. This is what has damaged this present humanity. We need to increasingly comprehend that all religions are only one religion. Mary, mother of Jesus, is the same as Isis, Juno, Demeter, Ceres, Maya, etc., the cosmic mother or Kundalini, sexual fire, from whom the cosmic Christ is always born. Mary Magdalene is the same as Salambo, Matres, Ishtar, Astarte, Aphrodite, and Venus, with whom we must practice sexual magic in order to awaken the fire. The martyrs, saints, virgins, angels, and cherubim are the same gods, demigods, titans, goddesses, sylphs, cyclops, and messengers of the gods from pagan mythology. All the religious principles of Christianity are pagan, and when the present religious forms disappear, their principles will be assimilated by the new religious forms of the future. It is necessary to comprehend what the Immaculate Conceptions are. It is necessary to know that only with the perfect matrimony is Christ born within a human being's heart. It is urgent to awaken the fire of the Kundalini, or fire of the Holy Spirit, in order to incarnate the Christ. Whoever awakens the Kundalini transforms himself, like Ganymede, into the eagle of the Spirit in order to soar to Olympus and serve as cupbearer for the ineffable gods. It is lamentable that Catholic priests have destroyed so many documents and so many valuable treasures of antiquity. Fortunately, they could not destroy them all. During the Renaissance, some marvelous books were discovered by brave priests. Thus, despite the persecutions of the clergy, Dante Alighieri, Boccaccio, Petrarch, Erasmus, etc., were able to translate famous books like Homer's The Iliad and the Odyssey, true books of occult science and sexual magic. They also translated the Aeneid of Virgil, Theogony, and works and days of Hesiod, the Metamorphoses of Ovid, and other writings of Lucretius, Horace, Tibullus, Titus Livy Tacitus, Appius, Cicero, etc. All of this is pure Gnosticism. It is really unfortunate how some ignorant people abandon Gnosis in order to follow systems and methods that ignore sexual magic and perfect matrimony. We have investigated all the great Gnostic treasures, and we have delved into the basis of all the archaic religions. We have found the supreme key of sexual magic at the base of all cults. Now we deliver this treasure, this key, to this suffering humanity. Many will read this book, but few will comprehend it. This is exclusively a book about sexual magic. Those who are accustomed to reading thousands of books out of pure intellectual curiosity will assuredly miss the opportunity to study this book in depth. It is not enough to race through reading this book. Those who think like that are mistaken. It is necessary to profoundly study this book, and to totally comprehend it not only with the intellect but in all levels of the mind. The intellect is only a small fraction of the mind. The intellect is not the whole mind. The one who only comprehends this book with the intellect has not comprehended it. Only with internal meditation is it possible to comprehend it in all levels of the mind. It is urgent to practice sexual magic in order to attain Christification. The reader will discover the supreme key of intimate self-realization within this book. We are not against any religion, school, sect, order, or lodge because we know that all religious forms are manifestations of the great, cosmic, universal, infinite religion latent in every atom of the cosmos. We teach the synthesis of all religions, schools, orders, lodges, and beliefs. Our doctrine is the doctrine of the synthesis. Sexual magic is practiced in esoteric Christianity. Sexual magic is practiced in Zen Buddhism. Sexual magic is practiced among initiated yogis. Sexual magic is practiced among the Mohammedan Sufis. Sexual magic was practiced in the initiatic colleges of Troy, Egypt, Rome, Carthage, Eleusis. Sexual magic was practiced in the Maya, Aztec, Inca, Druid, etc. mysteries. Sexual magic and the cosmic Christ are the synthesis of all religions, schools, and sects. We teach the doctrine of the synthesis. This doctrine could never be against diverse religious forms. Our teachings are contained within all religions, schools, and beliefs. If the reader does a serious study of all the religions of the world, he will discover the phallus and womb as the synthesis of all mysteries. There has never been any primary religion or school of mysteries where the cosmic Christ and the mysteries of sex were absent. The doctrine of the synthesis cannot harm anyone because it is the synthesis of all. We invite devotees of all cults, schools, and beliefs to make a comparative study of religions. We invite students from all the diverse systems of intimate self-education to study sexual esotericism from all the secret schools of mysteries. We invite all yogis to study sexual yoga and white tantra from India, without which no yogi is able to attain total liberation. Whatever the name may be, sexual magic and the Christ are the synthesis of all esoteric studies, religious forms, or educational systems. The attacks of which we have been victims, the persecutions, anathemas, and excommunications, etc., are because of ignorance and lack of study. Any religious form or esoteric system enriches itself with the synthesis. The synthesis cannot harm anyone. This is the doctrine of the synthesis. We deeply love all religious forms. We know that all religious forms are the loving manifestation of the great, cosmic, universal religion. Supreme religious synthesis is found within perfect matrimony. God is love and wisdom. The ultimate synthesis of all lodges, orders, schools, sects, systems, and methods of intimate self-realization from the East, as well as the West, North, and South, is found within the Christ and within sex. Pause inferential. Samael Aun Wewer.